January 22nd, 2021. Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. A 57-year-old man steps off a flight from Taiwan. Center-parted hair, modest clothes, the unremarkable appearance of a middle-aged professional catching a connection home to Canada. Dutch National Police are waiting for him. They show him the warrant. Australian Federal Police. Interpol Red Notice. Extradition request. He does not raise his voice. He does not resist. He is calm in the way that people are calm when they have already calculated every possible outcome and accepted this one. His name is Tse Chi Lop, and the Australian Federal Police believe he is the most powerful drug trafficker alive, the architect of a syndicate that controls between 40 and 70% of the entire Asia-Pacific methamphetamine market, generating between $8 billion and $17.7 billion a year, in a regional drug trade worth $90 billion annually. The UNODC's representative for Southeast Asia will say he is in the league of El Chapo, or maybe Pablo Escobar. Some investigators think that comparison undersells him. It has taken 20 law enforcement agencies across 12 countries a decade to get to this moment. Operation Kungur, led by the AFP, supported by the DEA, the RCMP, Taiwan's Ministry of Justice Investigation Bureau, police in Myanmar, Thailand, Japan, China, Canada, and the Netherlands. 20 agencies, one man at a gate. He shakes no hands. He offers no congratulations. He steps into Dutch custody without incident and says, through his lawyers, that he is innocent of everything. Before we go further, if you're enjoying this story and want more like it, hit the like button and subscribe. Every video we make goes this deep, and there's a lot more coming. Guangzhou, China, 1963. Tse Chi Lop is born into the Cultural Revolution, not the idea of it, the physical reality of it, the purges, the denunciations, the Red Guards sent into the streets to destroy anything that predated Mao, and then the moment the Red Guards themselves became a problem. 1968, when Mao turned the People's Liberation Army against the young paramilitaries he had created, disbanded them, and sent thousands to re-education camps in Guangdong province. The camps were brutal. The prisoners competed for food, and in those camps, among former Red Guards who had been betrayed by the ideology they'd served, a criminal organization formed. They called themselves the Big Circle Boys, a reference to how Guangzhou appeared on Chinese maps, circled in red. They were not a traditional triad. No oaths, no formal hierarchy, no territory markings, no initiation rituals. They were colleagues, criminals who were organized but not organized crime in any conventional sense, which made them almost impossible to infiltrate because there was nothing formal to infiltrate. When Mao's crackdown intensified, many Big Circle Boys fled to Hong Kong. Some walked across the mountains, some swam 12 kilometers across Deep Bay. Many drowned. Those who arrived brought with them paramilitary training and a specific worldview. Ideology had failed them, governments had failed them, and the only reliable organizing principle was profit. Tse Chi Lop joins this organization as a young man. By 1988, he is senior enough, trusted enough, and ambitious enough to be sent to Toronto. He is 24 years old. He marries in 1989, works at Fujifilm, works at Kodak, has 2 children, a daughter and a son born with a lung condition. Behind this facade, he is helping build the most sophisticated heroin trafficking network in North America. The investigation that will eventually destroy Tse's first empire begins in 1992 with a street arrest on a corner in the Bronx. The dealer gives up his supplier. The supplier is a man named Yang Bing Gong, known as Sonny, who is running a large-scale heroin trafficking operation from inside a federal prison, where he is serving a life sentence for abduction and extortion. FBI agent Mark Kalnin names the investigation Sunblock, a portmanteau of Sonny and the cell block where he lives. Working outward from Gong, Sunblock identifies a network stretching from the Golden Triangle, the lawless border junction of Myanmar, Thailand, and Laos, through Bangkok, to Vancouver, to Toronto, to a barbershop on Long Island run by a man named Emanuele Lo Giudice, known in the network as Manny the Barber, who moves the product down the eastern seaboard into New York and Florida. The architecture that makes this possible is a deal Tse Chi Lop has negotiated personally. The Big Circle Boys are importing the highest quality heroin from the Golden Triangle. The Rizzuto family, the dominant mafia organization in Montreal, connected to the Bonanno family in New York and the 'Ndrangheta in Europe, has an established cocaine distribution network. Tse proposes they share infrastructure. The Big Circle Boys' heroin rides the Rizzuto network into the United States. FBI agent Kalnin will say it takes guts and a specific kind of intelligence to negotiate between criminal cultures that do not naturally trust each other. By 1997, Tse is the person sourcing all the drugs from Asia. By September 1995, Operation Sunblock has enough to indict more than a dozen people. Paul Kwok is arrested in Canada. Gong is indicted from prison. But Tse has already moved to mainland China, a jurisdiction with no extradition treaty with the United States. Kalnin will later say he was as unreachable as if he were on Mars. The break comes from a Montreal detective named Mario Lamoth, whose informants placed Tse in Hong Kong in August 1998. On August 12, 1998, Hong Kong police arrest Tse Chi Lop at a restaurant in Tsim Sha Tsui. Kalnin is there to watch it. Tse is calm, friendly, strategically silent. He looks, Kalnin will later say, like the manager of a local bank. Nothing about him shouts international drug trafficker. He pleads guilty to a single count of conspiracy to import heroin. 9 years. Federal Correctional Institution, Elkton, Ohio. He serves every day of it. And in Elkton, he meets a man named Lee Chung-chak. Tse Chi Lop walks out of Elkton in 2006. He promises the court he will open a restaurant. He moves to Hong Kong in 2011. What he builds next makes everything that came before look like a pilot scheme. The insight is the same one that has driven every major criminal evolution of the 20th century. The product mix is wrong. Heroin is declining. The infrastructure is expensive, the routes complex, the law enforcement pressure intense. Synthetic drugs, methamphetamine, ketamine, fentanyl, have higher profit margins, simpler distribution, and a supply chain that does not depend on poppy cultivation in the same way. Tse and Lee Chung-chak, his Elkton cellmate, begin building a syndicate from the jungles of Shan State in northeastern Myanmar. The organization they create is called Sam Gor, Brother Number 3 in Cantonese, one of Chi's prison nicknames. Its members call it the Company. It is composed of former rival triads that have agreed to stop competing and start cooperating. The 14K, the Bamboo Union, the Big Circle Boys, the Sun Yi-an, and the Woshing Wo. 5 organizations that spent decades in conflict, unified by Tse's founding principle. Profit is more important than territory. The manufacturing operation sits inside the underpoliced jungles of Shan State, protected by private militias. The labs produce industrial-scale crystal methamphetamine. A Taiwanese law enforcement document will describe the supply chain as something that must rival Apple's in complexity and reliability. By 2018, the UNODC estimates Sam Gor is generating between $8 billion to $17.7 billion a year from methamphetamine alone. The Asia-Pacific drug trade has grown fourfold in 5 years. Sam Gor controls between 40 and 70% of it. TC controls 70% of Australia's meth supply. He bets at Macau casinos, flies his family to 5-star hotels for birthday parties, surrounds himself with 8 Thai kickboxers at a time for security. One night at a Macau casino, he loses $66 million. He does not change his expression. The thread that unravels everything begins in 2016 at Yangon International Airport. A mid-level Taiwanese Bamboo Union member named Kai Zheng is stopped by airport security. Taped to each of his thighs, 80 grams of ketamine. He tells police it is a pesticide for flowers. The explanation is unimpressive. He is held overnight. When Burmese anti-narcotics officers arrive the following morning, they take his 2 phones. On those phones, detailed documentation of Sam Gor's operations, financial records, contact networks, photographs. One photograph shows Kai with an unidentified man at a meeting. When the phone contents are shared with the AFP, an investigator identifies the man in the photograph. It is Tse Chi Lop. The AFP now has a face, a name, and enough operational detail to begin building a case. Running separately since 2011, the AFP has already photographed Tse at a meeting in Hong Kong with the leaders of a Melbourne drug ring under surveillance. a Melbourne greengrocer named Suki Lu, operating with 60 phones and SIM cards, speaking in code with Hong Kong suppliers. The AFP taps the phones, watches the meetings, and photographs the man the distributors report to. 2 threads, 1 name. The AFP builds Operation Kungur around Chi. In 2019, after Reuters publishes the first public reporting on his identity and role, he is placed on an Interpol Red Notice. He is in Taiwan when the COVID-19 pandemic closes borders across the region. He stays there, under surveillance, for almost 2 years. On January 22, 2021, he books a flight from Taipei to Amsterdam, connecting onward to Canada. He steps off the plane. The Dutch police are there. Tse Chi Lop fights extradition for almost 2 years from a Dutch detention cell. In November 2022, he stops fighting. In December 2022, he is extradited to Australia. In December 2025, after nearly 5 years in custody, Tse Chi Lop enters a plea deal. He is sentenced to 16 years, with a non-parole period of 10. The 5 years already served count toward that sentence. He will be eligible for parole in January 2031. The charge he pleads to: a single count of drug trafficking. 1 count. For the man the UNODC identified as running between 40 and 70% of the Asia-Pacific methamphetamine market. When the AFP arrests Tse in 2021, Jeremy Douglas of the UNODC offers an assessment that is precise in both what it acknowledges and what it warns. It's a great result. But the organization remains. The conditions they effectively used in the region to do business remain unaddressed. The network remains in place. The demand for synthetic drugs has been built. Someone will step in to replace Tse. In 2021, the year of Tse's arrest, authorities across Asia seize 170,000 kilograms of methamphetamine, a new record. Drug prices across the region do not change. The supply does not pause. It does not even notice. The story of Tse Chi Lop is not a story about a drug lord who was caught. It is a story about a system, 40 years of undergoverned jungle, failed states, rival criminal organizations that learn to cooperate, and a global demand for synthetic drugs that no single arrest can address. Tse built the most profitable criminal enterprise in Asia-Pacific history by understanding one thing that law enforcement kept failing to understand. It is not about the man. It is about the conditions. The man is replaceable. The conditions are not. The next story is about a different kind of invisible empire, one that operated not from Myanmar jungles but from the 39th floor of a glass tower in Midtown Manhattan, supervised by the most trusted name in American finance. For 17 years, Bernie Madoff ran the largest Ponzi scheme in human history inside a registered investment firm with its own SEC compliance officer. The mechanism that kept it hidden was not corruption. It was the specific way that Wall Street had learned to trust its own. That story is next.